I always think of email as being an open postcard rather than a sealed envelope. If it's out there on the wire, and if somebody wants to sniff it, they can do. That said, most of your major mail providers do recognise these issues, and they're working with all the other mail providing community to put the controls in place to make life better and more secure for people that are using email. I was fortunate enough to go to a conference event recently where I heard someone from Google speak, and through their relationships with other mail providers, over 80% of email that's inbound or outbound from Google is now encrypted. So, as well as also all being encrypted on their internal network. But there's other things that people do with just impersonating email, impersonating senders to try and trick people into clicking on that link or clicking on that document that's attached. Some of you probably would have heard of the term social engineering, and that's basically manipulating somebody to do what you want or provide the information you want. It's far easier to hack the person than it is to hack the computer. Why go to all that trouble of trying to break through somebody's firewall and steal their data if you can just get them to click on something that then gives you complete control of their computer and you just carry on and do it? So I think it's key that people sort of understand the risks there are in email. I'm not saying we shouldn't use it. Of course we should use it, but just to understand that and know how to mitigate that to the fullest extent you can. I think most people would have seen one of these, if not something similar. This is the FedEx email that there's probably not a day goes by as I don't find one of these in my junk. And if it's not FedEx, it's NZ Post, it's PayPal, it's you name it, people saying, oh, you need to do this immediately, you need to take action now. And that's one of the signs of a suspicious or a potentially dodgy email, is that immediate call to action. What I found interesting in this email is if you clicked the more details, it took you to a malicious site. But also, if you clicked on the unsubscribe or the privacy policy, it took you to that same malicious site. So they're trying to cover all of their bases. And one of the things I would say is we see email being used to exploit our customers, to exploit the community all the time. So if you're using email, and I come back to what I think Steve said around education and awareness, there's huge value in educating yourself and in your small business, educating your staff around how to spot these email. Don't be too quick to click on them, and also to protect your own email account. We've seen our customers and sometimes non-customers whose email accounts have been hacked, and certainly I think it's been well publicised here in New Zealand, happening in the building industry, that the builder's email gets hacked and then any recently sent invoices get modified and resent from that builder's email account with a message something along the lines of, oh, our bank account is being audited, can you please pay to this new account? And they're after those big milestone payments, and we've seen $20,000, $50,000, $70,000 paid into a fraudulent bank account. Fortunately, in most of those instances, with the cooperation of the banks here in New Zealand, that money has been retrieved. So these are things you need to watch out for. And even today, I think it was in the press or in the paper, another email scam doing the rounds, emails purporting to be from the DHB to suppliers with purchase orders. The purchases then sent to a freight forwarding company and shipped off overseas to some dude wherever, who's now in receipt of a lot of well-made New Zealand goods for no cost. So this sort of thing happens all the time, and it's just a bit of education and a few additional controls. I'd say for your own email account, as Si was saying, second factor authentication is a fantastic protection for preventing people getting access to your accounts. Even if they compromise your password, if you have second factor authentication enabled, or sometimes called multi-factor authentication, we call it two-step authentication and zero, it's a really good roadblock to the bad guy getting into your account. So I can't recommend doing that highly enough. If your mail provider doesn't provide second level authentication, personally I'd be looking for another mail provider.